in here getting the shop open up. I needed something to help me put the lights and stuff on. Nice. Hey, how you doing? Good morning, good afternoon or evening. If you're watching it later in the day, that's fine. I appreciate you watching either way. We're just gonna spend a day in the shop, making it work. I'm Jimmy, if you're new here. Come in every morning, get this place opened up, and usually the last one, or one of the last ones to leave. Basically, I like to get things done. That's why I started this YouTube channel and called it Making It Work, because I have a tendency to find a way to figure things out and get it done. 43 years now I've been a mechanic, I guess, since I was about 18 years old. Starting a little gas station, mom and pop gas station, pumping gas and doing light repairs. I got hired because I was putting engines and transmissions in my personal vehicles at 15 and 16 years old. Anyway, just a little history. Some of you might be new. I've been getting a lot of new subscribers lately. We're right on the threshold of 17,000. Probably go over that this weekend. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate that support. Trying my best to build a community so people can get a glimpse into a real mechanic working on flat rate, trying to hustle, take care of their family, get people back on the road. Make a decent paycheck is not easy in this business. If you're afraid of working hard, don't become a flat rate mechanic. You also have to know how to restrain yourself a little bit and not get too crazy, because then you make way more mistakes. You have a lot of problems. You don't want that either, right? So there's always, you're always walking that, what would you call it? Not a tightrope, but walking that ignition wire. Anyway, we'll put some clips in what's going to happen in today's video other than me rambling. I like Acura because it's a Honda. Today's got an all Honda vibe to it so far. The Transformer Pilot, a fine Land Rover. So you guys know what's going to happen today. I'm anxious to find out what's going to happen. I know I'll probably be messing with this Honda CR-V from yesterday. It's got a noisy compressor. The customer thought it might need an engine, but it's all the noise I hear is coming from the compressor. We might take the belt off today just to be 100% sure. We're 99.99% sure right now. I'm not sure if we'll get the alternator for the Ram today. That's been here for over a week, but we're waiting. The customers, so far, the work I did took about 4 hours, and all the rest of the time waiting on the extended warranty company to either approve or get us parts. They wanted to supply us some of the parts. So it's not up to us, I guess. We just do what we got to do and roll our boat. 64 Chevy, haven't heard anything about that one. The biggest problem he's having is it shuts off and won't restart for a minute. When it cools down a little bit, it'll restart again. It's not overheating, it's losing fuel pressure, it seems. But we need approval to go further. I already spent 2.5 hours on it. So, without further ado, let's try to learn a thing or two. Have some fun. Stay tuned. First vehicle today. What do you guys think? I think it's ugly, but I don't know. Some elements of it I kind of like. The Audi headlights, At least Audi gets credit for being the first one to do those, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys might know. I like Acura because it's a Honda, but I don't know. Something about it just isn't right. Maybe they're trying too hard with it, I guess. But it's from Illinois. Customer says, all my lights are on. Can you find out why? So, of course, I just drove it in. And it smells like, I don't know, old. It just smells like a much older car. 130,446 miles, and the only light on is the dash light and the fog light. Notice, so if you turn off the fog light, go like this here, that light goes out. If you put your seatbelt on, come here seatbelt. All right. All the lights are on in the dash. I don't know if this is going to go anywhere. 61 degrees out this morning. It's supposed to be like 75, 76, I think. Man, I would say it's a love rating of 7, but the smell wants me to give it a 6. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's go see if there's something really else going on with this thing. I'm not really... Oh, cool. Power seat, power column. That won't go bad. We'll go check up front and see what's really going on. Something not right. Look at my beautiful wife. I clean up pretty decent myself. The reason I got my phone out is I got this cool top scan from Top Don, and I haven't used it yet, and they said all the lights are coming on. I'm gonna put this in and see what happens. I gotta pair it to my phone. I haven't even done any of that yet, so I'm going to find the OBD2 connector. Oh, there it is. Plug this in. Boop. Now these are the kind you can forget, so you got to be conscious of that. Hey, give me my face. Where is it? Oh, there I am. All right, I'm going to find this in my Bluetooth settings, and I'll go ahead and pair it to that. We'll see if there's an update for it. All right, I downloaded Top Guru. It takes you to that app to download it, and I had to reset my Apple ID password because I always forget it. So I had to pick something vulgar so they would let me use it, because I tried to use some of my old passwords. It gets upset about that. It was a whole long drawn out process, but we're past it now. So let's move on. We'll open up this app, get this thing paired. What happens if you don't agree to the privacy policy? You don't get to use it. So you have to agree. You have to allow them to do all kinds of cool stuff in your phone, and then log in. I'm gonna make an email, put in my email and password. Once I got that done, I had to re-register my Top Don email, and I forgot my password. It wasn't saved for some reason, so I redid all that. Now I get to select car, and I started the vehicle engine. Next. Plugged in. Next. Make sure the LED light is on. Next. Connect now. That's my code, my serial number, I believe. I unplugged it and plugged it back in. Bink, it popped up. Activate. Should be good to go. Look at this. Oil, throttle, EPB, steering, Top Guru, repair guide, service, technical service bulletins. Wow, I didn't know we'd be able to do all that. That's pretty cool. Let's do I am readiness for inspections. Tells you if the road test stuff's been done. Okay, I do have to do some updates, so we're going to tap this. Next. Diagnostics button, tap it to choose a VIN recognition method. Current state is displayed here. I'm going to download all of these updates. Oh look, Acura, second one. That's what I'm in right now. Acura, testing this tool out. Customer says they have a bunch of lights on. I don't see any, but I figure it's an opportunity to hook up the top scan from Top Don and see what it can do. So let's go ahead and start updating these things. I'm going to take care of these updates. That'll take a few minutes, and we'll come back. All right, the updates are going a little quicker than I expected. So it shows installed once they're all done. We're at the bottom of the list. Got quite a few brands here. The capabilities are for some brands that I won't see here, like Vauxhall. I mean, it'd be pretty rare for me to get a European car over here, but Volkswagen, Volvo, Toyota, Tata, nope, not going to see them. Suzuki, Subaru, you know, all the popular brands. Smart, Scion, Saab, Rolls-Royce. Yep, don't ever do those, but occasional Renault, Porsche I try to avoid. That's basically it. So, you know, all the popular brands are here. Nissan, Mitsubishi, Chevrolet. Everything you're ever going to see, plus some you never will, like Lamborghini, already installed. So we're going to let this finish up, show you what this thing can do. So far, everything I've gotten from Top Don has been great. You can do these all in batch, but I wanted to look through the brands anyway, so I just skimmed through really quick and started the download process on all of them. So, but it was already kind of doing some when I went in there and started telling it to do them all individually so I could look through the brand list. If you go into diagnostics, it brings you your vehicle list, but you don't have to select that manually. You can just go here to automobile and auto VIN. Now it should read the vehicle's VIN for you, and it'll tell you what it is. Enter VIN. Confirm. Now it'll go through and give you some helpful menus, tell you you can do this way and do that this way. Tap the expand button for more functions. With too much data, tap this button for fuzzy search. Translate or correct the text on the page. Any diagnostic issue, tap this feedback button to report it to Top Don. Got it. I'm gonna go USA. Confirm. Anxious to see what this screen looks like coming up. I haven't seen it. We're gonna see it together. Pretty simple to use. The only glitch I had was my Apple ID password. Auto scan. So now it's got a list of modules. Tell it to scan them. It's going to come through and see if there's any DTCs in any particular module. We got an ABS fault and an electronic parking brake fault. So we do have something. All right, now it shows me my faults up top. It moves those modules to the top of the list. We got a list of faults. Now we can send a report too, which is really cool. I can go ahead and send this up front like you guys know I like to do with my full-size scanners. This little dongle tool is pretty capable so far. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and send this report so we have a list of all these potential codes, for the customer and see how far they want to go with all those. This is a no charge diagnostic so far. Full system report. Save. Now I can share it to the email for the front desk. Okay, the report sent. The report has been sent. I clicked on the ABS module code. Now it's establishing communication. It'll show me what the individual codes are. And I should be able to look at data and all kinds of cool stuff with this tool. Data stream, read DTCs, CAN communication failure with electric parking brake. So if we back out and go to electric parking brake, see what that code is. Read DTCs. PCM malfunction pending. Well, that's weird. Let's go back to integrated driver support system has the most faults. Potentially there's an issue with that and the other modules are upset about it. Camera wheel speed signal error. Dust or dirt on the camera. Dust or dirt on the wave radar. What's really cool about this too is I can go in here and let's look at the ABS one. We'll bring up some data. Now I can watch wheel speed while I'm driving. I can see my battery voltage is 14.4. The engine's idling about 670 RPM. If I step on the brakes, this should change to on. It also shows me my brake pressure, depending on how hard I press. Cool. This is a handy little dongle tool. 79 bucks, I think it was. I'll put a link down below the video if you guys are interested. So far, just what I would expect from Top Don. Everything I've gotten from them has been great. Let me go up front, explain what I found on this car to the customer, because that's my most important thing. And we'll come back to this vehicle if we're going to go further, and I'll show you more capabilities on this tool. So far, so good. All right, I cleared the codes, road tested, everything works good. It's got some weird transmission codes and weird communication codes and PCM error codes. I wonder if it has a bad battery. Some people are saying that the batteries go weak on these. Like the Toyotas, it has a gear reduction starter. So at like 9 volts, it'll crank, but the modules all freak out. So that's very possible. It looks like the original battery. And to get to it, you got to take this trim off, take the airbox stuff off, then you can just test the battery. And I already spent an hour driving this and checking codes and clearing codes, and I'm going to see what they want to do with it. Oh, you know what? I can get to the positive and a remote ground and at least get some idea where the battery's at. She's a little dusty. Battery test. Enter. 620. Enter. I'm not on the battery negative. It's probably mad about that because it's trying to do a resistance check. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find a better connection. All right, so much for shortcuts. Sometimes shortcuts take longer. Not much I can. Oh, look at that. It's not such a big deal, dude. What are you doing? Trying to get all Rain Man Ray up here with the shortcuts. Just being funny. I got nothing against the guy. I do have to get a good connection though. Apparently it's not easy to do. There it is. Check connecting. Okay. Something's happening. I'm gonna try it again. See what we get. Good battery. 545 cold cranking amps. That's not a good battery. 77%. Whoop. Range Rover. Nice. Yeah, this thing needs a battery, so I don't care what the machine says. It passes. It's at anything below 95, 100%. They usually test over 100%. I'm calling a battery, and then we'll go from there. Look at that, a Range Rover, a classic Ford, and an exotic Acura. Today's got an all Honda vibe to it so far. Honda CR-V from yesterday with a noisy compressor. I'm gonna put a compressor in it. Right after we suck the Freon out, get it up in the sky, see what it looks like under there. Shouldn't be too bad. Now we can see we got our refrigerante out of here. What we're gonna need now is access. We're gonna do the condenser too, just because the way the compressor is rattling and making so much fuss, it might have sent metal into the condenser. Oh, that's broken. We got him. Don't worry, we got more. It says to take the front bumper off, but you know, it's gonna be a little tricky. Try it. I'm gonna try taking the brackets up and lifting the condenser up, see if I can get to the bolts. The only reason they want you to take the whole bumper off is the two 10mm bolts that hold the lines to the phone. I mean, the condenser. Your phone's ringing. the phone. It's ringing. Thank you. Oh man, it opens up a whole new world. Just a couple of, just a couple of minutes. I like the phone. I'm gonna have to go get that. Can't get the bolt out. That's all right. We don't need it. We don't need it yet. Don't forget your rubber grommets. Now the condenser's just floating in there. If I can get these two lines out, some stuff's gonna happen. I think I can get to that. I got ratchet. I got ratchet wrenches, and I have a light that barely sticks on the hood. What are we gonna do, huh? You know what? I'm gonna make the necessary accommodations. What do you think about that? Let gravity help you. Gravity check! Oh, take the bumper off. My patootie. I'll take the whole body off the car and leave the bumper on it only just to prove a point. I wish that was a joke. Sometimes I get carried away with shortcuts and trying to find a better way. When I was younger, I was a lot worse about it. As I've gotten older, I've learned sometimes you just got to do what they tell you. You got to take the bumper off. You got to do whatever it is. You got to brush your teeth. All the things. I'm hoping the bottom one's the easier of the two to do with the bumper on, but we'll see. I'm going to do this first and then we'll lift it up. Parts aren't here yet, but by the time I get it apart, hopefully they will be. Especially because I refuse to take the bumper off, so it may take longer. Look at this. Look at this guy. Nobody likes a bragger.
Hey Jimmy, we're going to do the battery in that Acura. Would be this one. I'll bring out the paperwork.
Sometimes the GoPro turns itself on and you don't even know it. While I was taking this down, it was recording. That was cool. That's the other fitting. Can you see it? So I think I can get that one from here. Oh, look at that thing. It's right there. I'm taking a bumper off, you knuckleheads. Look at the compressor too. Basically falls out. So we're gonna make it fall out, that's all. A couple of 10s on that, and then 12s hold it to the bracket. Gotta take the belt off. I wanna do that. Gotta figure out how. Oh, the tensioner's way up there. I couldn't see the tensioner from above, and I can't see it from below. That's gonna be awkward. We'll get it. I think we're going to do the battery and the Acura real quick. But I'm gonna pop this lower bolt out so I don't think about it while I'm working on the Acura. Just wanted to convince myself it was as easy as it looked. It would have bothered me the whole 5 minutes I was putting the battery in. Go do that real quick now. We got the plastic cover just pops off of there. A bunch of clips. So there's no big deal with that. These are cool. They unscrew. I wish they'd do that on all of them. Once they unscrew, you can probably pop it up, I'm thinking. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Man, that's nice. There's our hourly ambulance going by. You don't know if somebody's sick at home or if it's because of the crazy driving in this town or what, but it could be either, for sure. Let's hope everyone's okay. Every time I hear one go by, I'm like, oh. Someone is usually doing pretty bad if there's an ambulance. Hope they're okay. Get this car done so she can head home, then she's okay. This one is threading, but not unthreading, if that makes sense. trying to hold the that housing in the bottom. I got my memory saver on it. Let me show you that real quick. I don't use it too often, but Hondas and Acuras, they get nasty about radio codes sometimes, although this is a pretty modern one. It probably doesn't, but I put my memory saver, it plugs in the OBD2 port, shows you with the red light that it's got power in the port, and you can pull it off the port and the red light shows you there's power from your power supply. Of course, I also have a meter here, 13 volts. So that'll hold it, hold the memory while I discombobulate all this stuff up here. Now you gotta be careful too, because even when the ground's disconnected out here, it's live because that battery's powering it up. So you basically have two batteries connected to it is how that works. So you gotta keep that in mind while you're doing the battery work. Stay. That's nice. I think that's a cover over the battery though. Let's see what happens with that. I'm not putting any Adapto batteries in this one. I can guarantee you that. You gotta get something to pry that up. This'll work. That thing was on there. I am getting a little weak, but I'm not that weak yet. These are not going to work. They're not deep enough. Let me go get my regular quarter drive adapter. We'll be able to see what's under that cover. It's got a sticker on the cover to tell you about the battery that's underneath it. I wasn't expecting it to reach. Cool. Another 1/8 inch, you probably wouldn't have. It was on the cusp. I was watching Puddin video last night. Puddin's Fab Shop. Fast and Furious, bro. It was funny because he was talking about the stuff he does on his channel to make things work. And he said he buys GoPros 10 at a time because he destroys like 3 a year. I'm on my second one in 3 years. I thought that was a lot. But he also buys Hero 8s, which are old and outdated, but they do a good job. But you can get them a lot cheaper because he says he hits them with weld splatter and stuff like that. I thought it was interesting. These are going to get lost. They fall out. That's nice. Thank you, Honda. I'm going to get a bungee cord to hold this up. Rubber can transmit electricity, but not this low of a voltage. So I don't have any worries on that. If I can get this to reach, I'm not going to get a longer one. It's all part of the process. Learn to embrace it. Don't fight it. Just embrace it. See how this comes off. I was thinking the cover would just lift off at this point. Well, it's glued on or something. And there's an actuator attached to the side. That is good stuff. Alright, I'm going to go get some battery replacement training and we'll come back and figure this out. Come on, Bill and Bob, what are you doing, man? I was praising him a second ago. You gotta discombobulate the connector in every possible way so you can lift the battery case out with the battery, I suppose. That's the only thing I can think of. Something happened. There you go. I suppose that's how they want it to go. So I'm going to continue with what I was doing. Now I'll take the battery out. I don't understand. Why do people need to do things like that? I don't know. I don't think you should hear that noise during a tune-up. But it is what it is. I'm not working on that one. I can only fix one at a time. I think the battery's here for this now. I hit my put my brass brush on the terminals, clean the oxidation off real quick. And we've talked about that before. Start taking too much material off and you don't get a good connection. Those, I can't put these terminals on. So I put my cover on. It's funny too, I was tugging on this and tugging on it, it wouldn't break loose. And as soon as I tried lifting the battery out, it came loose. Let's clean it off though, so it looks like a new battery. Someone's gonna look under the hood and go, you didn't change my battery. Can't see it under most of the covers and stuff, but I want it semi-clean. So it looks like some effort was made. I don't know if this battery's gonna work. It doesn't go down all the way. It's a 1/4 inch up off the battery. Alright. Something's wrong. Let's see. There's a piece of foam there. Oh, this was in the battery. That's not going to help. Well, let me try without that. Just hit him. Teach him a lesson. The upper cover hits the lower cover, but it's not down on the battery, and the posts are not tall enough for that. So you know what to do. Let them know the battery doesn't quite fit right. And we'll see if we have to get a different battery. Thanks, Bill and Bob, and Interstate, and all you guys. I put these together so you guys know what I'm talking about. Interstate says this battery fits the car, and it's really close. But this 1/8 inch or so stops the battery terminals from going on all the way, and I'm not doing that. So I could shim the battery, put something underneath it. I'm gonna ask them what they want to do. I just wanted to show you guys what I was talking about. That's why it's recessed in the hole so much. It's that gap is the difference. All right. Oh, look at that. That's gonna be a fun one for somebody. Silly me, there's installation tips right here. I didn't know. So I'm gonna stack up some cardboard in there, and then this battery is supposedly direct fit will work. All you gotta do is be willing to make it work. That's all. Now, I cut that cardboard. That's not, didn't come with the battery or anything, so you know. We're gonna make it work. That's all. I can't say I'm happy about it, but I can say she's in a waiting room, and this battery fits 100% perfectly, they said. Okay. Well, when I'm done. Man, you complain a lot. I'm just trying to get my 0.4 and move on to my air conditioning job. Look at that. It fits all right. That'll work. As long as I can see that post poking out of the top, I'm happy. It's an awful lot of noise there, buddy. Nobody has mufflers anymore nowadays. Honda's been using this style battery hold down for, I don't know, 30 years, 40 years, like a long time. Barely reaches now. That's better. Milwaukee scissors cut the cardboard with these. They're great scissors. I think I bought them on sale at Home Depot. Beep. One of those. Alright, I'm going to finish popping this back together. Everything's pretty self-explanatory from here. I was happy to bring you guys along for most of the trip. I'm going to try not to edit it down. We'll leave that battery installation in real time, so you get a good idea what 0.4 is on a battery installation. Generally, I find Asian cars, the labor's always half what it should be, so that they can tell people there's lower cost of ownership. They just take the money from the mechanics. That's how it feels anyway. You guys tell me if I'm right. They tell people, don't maintain it as much as we used to tell you, and we'll just pay the mechanics less. See, now it costs less to own our vehicle. Pull my memory saver off, we'll get back in an AC job, and we'll try to put on a happy face. You got a little something in your eye right there. Let me get that for you. How's that better? How about that? All right, cool. I just wanted to show you something. I'm gonna take this belt off of here. I bet you it looks like on the camera like you're like 5-6 feet away. You're like 2 feet. GoPro wide angle, baby. Let's get this belt off. That's what I brought you in for. Ooh, that tension is not playing, man. I really just wanted off the compressor. It's like an unbolted. Alright, we'll let the caveman finish up.
I heard that,
What's that?
over there, you guys want to get a hold of do, Japanese hibachi. Hibachi.
We love hibachi.
That shit's good.
Does it? Really?
Too. I mentioned Puddin's Fab Shop earlier. He was saying last night how time consuming it is. He used to spend 20-25 hours a week just editing videos. I'm like, wow, I spend like 35 hours a week. But I do 5 or 6 videos a week. I think he does like 2 or 3. Plus he doesn't have a full-time job. YouTube is his full-time job. So I guess I'm working pretty hard. Trying to make it happen, baby. 50 hours here and 30 to 35 on YouTube each week. Roughly. Some weeks it goes quick and I do it in 20-25 hours, depending on how much wasted time during filming I have to edit out. And if I was better at it, I probably wouldn't have to do that. What do you think? That is something else. Let me get a pry bar. Let's see if that's what it is. If you hear a crack, that's not what it was. There it is. Oh, you know what it is? Honda. Bill and Bob. Even though I was blaming them on that Acura battery fiasco, it's not really Bill and Bob. It's 2 Japanese guys. I can't remember their names right now. But if you guys know who the Japanese engineers are, let me know in the comments. It's probably Yoshi and Jinora, or something like that. I'm not really sure. All right. This was some of the problemo. This is all froze up and busted up. It won't be in a minute or 20. I'm gonna put new O-rings. I got an O-ring on the condenser, and I'll put that on too. Took the wrong stuff apart. That's all right. Out in the scrap pile you go. Now I got an O-ring for that. Found me a matching O-ring. Might not look like it because it's a different color, but you have to trust me on it. Same size. We're going green. Environmentally friendly AC repair. Same size O-ring on the other end. So now I can put the compressor in there, and this has little hooks, which is really cool. Makes it a lot easier. So it'll hold it up for you while you start the bolts. That's the plan anyway. Get the belt around a little bit. This does have oil in it already.
A little bit.
About 3 ounces of
You know
oil.
what? This side was out a lot more considering I put it right back where it was originally.
There you go. That's better. The top 2 bolts are like 1/4 of an inch longer than the bottom 2. Should be good. Got them all started. That tighten it, so make sure you bottom out good. It is the other way, okay? So I turned it in gently. You see it bottom out before it was touching the compressor. So that means that bracket's deeper on the bottom than it is on the top. It looks the other way. It doesn't reach on the top. Interesting. I have questions. Things I must know. I don't want to put this into a blind hole and snap stuff. You're having a bad day. It threads in, so it's got to be on the hook up top. But I'm going to grab a mirror real quick and verify that. Yeah, it's flat against the bracket, so it's on the hook. Alright, must have just been some dirt in the threads or something. Went in once I got a little meaner. I've gone a little too gentle, I guess, worried about it bottoming it out. Electrical plug. Got to get my 2 hoses back on. And the belt. It even looks like it's on all the pulleys. Feed this up here. It's ready from a new condenser. It's not in yet. I'm going to do that last because it's got the dryer in it. Now this has to, of course I lubricated my O-rings. You never want to put it in dry. I put the new nut on there because they're the same exact nut. That's odd. The factory nut, the replacement nut. So we'll use a nice shiny new replacement one. Spend some money on an AC repair. We want to use all the best hardware we can. And if it's the same and one's new, sounds like a no-brainer. I'm not saying I have no brain, but some people have said it. You gotta put your Legos back together. It's easy, no big deal. I got some push pins are broken, some push pins will work. Got to replace some of them.
What's the camber?
I got to make sure.
Which side is the lowest?
Make sure I get the right size too, because these take some big chunky monkeys. So
my guess is there's something going on.
we got to think too. We got to have some Japanese engineer names. If you guys want to put in the comments some good Japanese names that are pretty popular, like Bill and Bob. You know, it's got to be a Japanese version of that. Maybe I know I have a few overseas viewers from Japan, I believe, too. A couple people told me they were watching from Japan, from memory. Let's get some good Japanese names in the comments. That's the short version. Because we're going to have engineers for Japanese cars, too. You have to. It just seems right. Got to take the hood latch out of the way, since this handle's not removable. Shouldn't be too bad, though. Just one bolt, and then the rest I can power zip out of there. I went and road tested that Acura, and something's going on with the transmission because I got the transmission code pretty quick. So we may revisit that today. I'm not sure today or Monday. Had a bad battery, so that has to be eliminated as a cause before you can go any further. Of course, the connector side that we need out is connected to the radiator support rather than the harness. I should lift out of here now. I know you want to scrape my knuckles real bad, don't you? I know. I know. I need a long pry bar. The rubber's holding it at the bottom. It's easy. Give it a little edumacation about who's the boss. And it's out. Got some rubber grommets to transfer over. Got to make sure the new condenser's right. Put about an ounce of PAG 46 in there. Now we're ready to reinstall this brand new shiny silver one. Got my rubber biscuits. I put them down in the holes already. I don't know if we'll be working on the Acura like I thought. Rob was talking to the guy, and he wants us to put in writing that we won't charge him anymore because he already paid for a battery, so everything should be under warranty. So that didn't go too well. So I don't know what's going to happen to that car. Come on, rubber biscuit. Let's do this. He gave me a tip too. I feel bad. I said, does he want his tip back? Is he upset? He said, oh yeah, he's upset. He wants in writing that it won't cost him any more money. I said, tell him to come get his tip. I'll give him the tip back. He gave me $15. I haven't had a tip in a while, but I don't need it. If someone's upset, take it back. Anyway, so frustrating. That is frustrating. Oh, you know what? It's upside down. I didn't realize it could even go in both ways. That's funny. See the two different size lines? Just turn it over. I was going to go up and tell him it was wrong. That's funny. Disaster averted. Just a heads up, if you go in somewhere for a diagnosis for a problem and you have a bad battery, that's the first thing they have to do. Especially a car with a gear reduction starter. It'll crank the engine over at 9 volts. And the modules get mad at anything under 10 volts. Definitely 9.5. But a lot of cars, 10 volts, they're mad. You get all kinds of weird codes and it'll make stuff up because it doesn't know what's going on. It's like you gave it electrical shock. Alright, get these lines tightened up. This thing's going to be under a vacuum in a moment. And then we'll put this up for good this time. I'm not sure if these are going to expand enough. Might have to go up a size. Yeah, I got to go one size bigger. These are nice and new. You know, if you want to get older ones to work nice, you put WD-40 or Deep Creep or something like that in them. And there's multiple sizes, so we'll give it 6 or 7 attempts. We'll get it. Be electrified. Now it'll be bolted. I can put the splash shield back on there and get this thing on a vacuum. I gotta help Bill with an alignment. He's a big crybaby. It's alignment's hard. They are, Bear. It's one of those Dakotas with the slides on the arm. They make special tools for them. I've never used them, but I don't do tons of alignments either. If I did a lot, I'd probably have them to make a shop buy them. But it is what it is. Take the good with the bad. Sometimes an alignment's easy, sometimes it's not. Let's put this on the marks from the old boats. I didn't think that tool would fit in there, but we gave it a whirl anyway, and it worked. Now, I got these brackets on. This one.
It's alright, Bill. I did all your hard work. I put that radiator cap on. Don't worry about it. I got it.
I got you. I got you, Bill. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
I'm redoing it, taking all the heads off, starting from square one. Because I don't know how much that affected everything. So I can't trust that.
Sometimes what I'll do is I'll have the engine running when I put the brake pedal depressor on.
Yeah.
So you got the booster helping, just to make sure.
Yeah.
I've even sat in a car and I drive it up for the compensation.
Yeah.
See, get my foot on the brake to do the caster.
You never do that.
Then put the pedal depressor on.
Alright, what the fuck is that big 650 here for?
For you. Wants an alignment. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
You're like, that is awesome. You better be kidding. Because I quit.
Okay.
This is our world, man. That big F650 or F550 that's out there I showed you earlier. It's owned by the customer with the flood camera. You guys been watching my channel a while. You remember that car? I kept advising against fixing it because I didn't think it was possible that we could get everything fixed. But he's been driving it ever since. So anyway, I'm going to fumble with this a little while. Get this back in here. And get this vacuuming down. We'll go over and help Bill a little bit, because I don't want to see anybody sad. The black screw goes in the plastic. At least that's how it works in my world. Since these screws match, I want to put them together. They're the same thread. It doesn't matter, but I feel better about it. I'll go over and help Bill, and we'll see how that goes.
Cranky attitude now, but start fresh. You know.
There's other ways to get long weekends. Take it easy. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, this is the one that blew apart. That's why I don't have the female. Gotta get one of those. I hate to leave a missing hole. That would be terrible. But I am going to put the hoses on it first. Might as well get that started. It needs a good 20, maybe 30 minutes of vacuum. I do 20 minutes if I did something quick, but when something was open a while, I'll do 30 minutes. I've seen some people do an hour or so, which to me is a waste of time, because it doesn't take long after it's in a vacuum to pull the moisture out while it's boiling. You know, vacuum, when you reduce pressure, the vacuum temperature, the boiling temperature goes down under a vacuum. The more of a vacuum, the lower the temperature can be when water will boil. That's the only reason for doing it. I'm going to get this down to 15 inches, then we'll pick about 30 minutes, then we'll do a leak test. I already put oil in it manually, so I don't have to worry about that. Off we go. It'd be nice if this is nice and quiet like Hondas are supposed to be. It should sound like a sewing machine. Until you take the cat and the muffler off, then it sounds like Fast and Furious. Vacuum is on the way. Well, we got to think a name for European cars, like German cars and stuff, like Hans and Franz. Is that already taken? little too much. Some of you guys might not be old enough to remember Hans and Franz. I remember them. All right, the cylinder. We're gonna use this cylinder here and fill the machine back up. It's low. You can see right here. It tells you. So you got to refill the cylinder. That's what we're waiting on now. And once the cylinder's all full, we go ahead and start the refilling process. R134A is going in. Please do not disturb the unit. Stop to end. It doesn't say please. It just says do not or else. So just give this a minute to fill. We'll fire this thing up. Be nice and quiet, and the air will work. Oh, that's the Honda we all know and love. Sounds like a Singer sewing machine. Hi. Auto. It's not really too anxious to turn on because it's kind of cool out right now. It's about 74. Let's go lower. There we go. Ooh, their air freshener smells lovely. It's nice. A lot nicer than the skunk smell. Matches the flowers hanging from the mirror. Everything's good to go now. This thing's quiet. The air works. Oh man, I fixed one. I'm gonna get this machine off of here. Make sure the pressures look a tiny bit low. Sometimes the scale is not 100% accurate. Sometimes it just takes a second for pressures to stabilize. Yeah, it's cycling. It probably needs more refrigerant. Yeah, it's pulling low. All right, we'll put a couple more ounces in there. I'm also going to turn the fan up because if the fan's running at low speed, sometimes the evaporator can start to freeze. So it'll cycle the compressor off because of that. Because when the air passes over the evaporator, it keeps it from freezing, right? So let's do that. I want to make sure this is going to be good for the customer. And we'll make sure these pressures look good. It's already blowing freezing cold, but I don't think it should cycle so much. So I'll top it off a few more ounces. Make sure everything's good because our machine is old and crusty, so it's not 100% accurate. I find I'm much better off going by pressures. I want 30 to 40 psi on the low side. High side usually 150 to 220 or so, at least for this area we're in. And once I make sure this is working correctly 100%, we'll see. It's got to be something else. I got exotic vehicles and monster trucks and classic Fords, and they've been sitting out there all day, so I'm guessing once I'm done I'll figure out which one I'm getting, or if I'm getting all of them. Look at them down there. Bill's taking so long in that alignment that they gave me his transmission service on his Honda Pilati, the Transformer Pilot. You guys are making a lot of damn noise. Alright, quick transmission drain and fill, I believe. Gotta double check my paperwork. 123,000 loving miles. And this thing's gonna get a 7. It's not a little bit of extra love. It might get up in the stratosphere. 7's rare nowadays, especially on a daily driver. It's got a couple little issues, but not too bad. I think it's like a 2008. I mean, if you think about it, it's in 2010. Okay, maybe I should give it a 6. We'll stick with 7. Let's get this thing in the air, and they said there's nothing wrong, just maintenance. This is the last of a dying breed. It has a dipstick right down there, and the fill plug is a 17 back here. It looks like it's been off already, so it shouldn't be the normal 1,400 foot-pounds Honda likes. It might be only 150 foot-pounds or so. The spec's like 27 foot-pounds or something like that, but they're always ridiculously tight, way tighter than that. But in any event, old school. So we'll lift it up and see what it looks like as far as drains go. Alright, we got a note, we got some oil leaks, and nothing terrible, but it is leaking a little bit. That's going to be the drain right there. This is also all-wheel drive, so needless to say, it really should have trans service, transfer case service, and differential services, but we're just doing a transmission. So we're going to go ahead and drain the fluid out of it and fill it up from the 17mm plug on the top, and the dipstick will verify it. I think these you check with the engine off too, like a manual, but I'll verify that in procedures. We'll make sure 3/8 ratchet ought to take that out. That's what I'm talking about. No playing around. I'm going to put the old fluid in this container so I can get an idea how much fluid was in it. We'll also get to see the condition of the fluid, which is not that bad, believe it or not. Can't go by color. I go more by smell. It has a red dye in it. When the dye wears out, it turns brown. Doesn't mean the fluid's worn out. A lot of people go, look how it's not red anymore, the fluid's no good. And there's a very good chance that might be true, but you can't go only by that. Most manuals nowadays will even tell you there's some metal on the drain plug. Not tons of nasty stuff, but there's a little bit excessive. All the little bits of shrapnel, tiny little shards, that's not good. I wouldn't say the train is shot yet, but I'll have to make a note. I can also check for codes before I pull it out. But like I was saying, between color and smell, and if you know the approximate mileage since it was last done, then you really know if it should be done. You can't just look at the color and say it needs to be done unless you want to install a transmission service or do it for yourself. Like I said, the best thing is mileage. I tend to do 50,000 miles. If you're towing, then 20 or 30,000, depending on how heavy the item is you're towing, how heavy duty your vehicle is, all that kind of stuff. But usually about 30,000 is good on something that tows like a half-ton or 3/4 ton truck. Commercial stuff, even more often, maybe 15 or 20,000 miles. Looks to me like it's got about 3.5 quarts in it, so we'll have a really good idea what to start with. Check the fluid level. Try not to pull towards my face when I'm breaking something loose, because you can punch yourself in the face. But not a lot of places to swing or ratchet over here. Not a lot of options. Just gotta try to be careful. Ah! Got it. That wasn't factory, I don't think either. That was just on the type of that. A long extension doesn't really help. There's also a washer. Need you in the transmission. We've got multi-vehicle synthetic transmission fluid going in. This funnel has a skinny bottom. I'm going to put almost all of this. 3.7 was exactly what I took out. So this is 4 quarts. Basically I could put the whole thing in and it'll be fine, but I'm going to check on the dipstick and get it really close. We don't want to just dump it in and go. It'd be quicker, but it wouldn't be right. So I'm going to keep a little fluid out of there, a little less than half a quart. And the dipstick is down. Nailed it. It's right here. I'm going to run it, shut it off, and check it again. Just to make sure. You can never be too careful when you're making YouTube videos. I mean, working on cars. I'm sure there's someone right now going, oh my God, you can't use that fluid. I use it all the time without any problems. Matter of fact, the only vehicles I've ever had to do transmission work in are ones we never serviced. After running it and rechecking it, the phone rang. I mean, the fluid's good. The phone! Oh, you know what time it is. A fine Land Rover with a really dead battery. It's not charging. Just powering up my JS3000. All the lights turn on. I tried driving it in, it shut off. But I want to pull it forward a little more in case I got to lift it up. Should be about right. Check engines on, batteries on, no gas, runs rough. When I came out to it, the door handle was falling off. I had to figure out how to get the door open. Oh, there it goes, jump box timed out. The door handle, this is gonna be a beauty. So we'll see if he has $2,000 for an alternator, but the handle was like this when I came out to it. I'm like, well, what the hell, it doesn't work. Then I realized I could just push it in and re-engage it and it would work, because the cap's missing. So you know, we got snacks and stuff. I'll show you in case you're hungry. I do not like any of my friends and viewers to be hungry, so this will help your appetite. You won't be hungry anymore. So all right, let's take a look around under the hood, see if the belt's on it and what the potential causes of not charging could be. I'm gonna put a battery charger on it instead of using up my jump box. Started that big old Land Rover motor, no problem. These are kind of pricey jump boxes. I think they're like 169, 199 bucks, but it's been the best jump box I've had before. And if you guys watch my videos a while, I've gone through 4 of them or so. I've had a couple of other good ones. One of my backup ones. This one's pretty good too. The Gula, that's pretty good. It doesn't have the oomph that the JS3000 has, but it's probably my second favorite. Let's see here if the belt is on. I'm going to use the stream light so I can get a concentrated beam of light down there. Oh, look at the belt. My goodness gracious. The belt's wasted. That's interesting. The alternator has a belt on it. I'll get a wiring diagram, see if there's an easy way to locate fuses and things. Maybe there's a fuse blew, I doubt it, but they said it died on going down the road and wouldn't restart. And the battery is just completely dead. Now, is that really what happened? I don't know. But we'll put a charger on the battery and I'll go get a wiring diagram and then we'll go from there. Okay, I found the parking lights were on and the battery was at 3 volts. So that's been charging a few minutes now while I looked up the wiring diagram. The way this works is engine control module controls the alternator's state of charge. Then there's a lead coming from the battery cable to the starter and then the alternator on the same wire. So unless that wire has a connection problem between the starter and the alternator, then we got to find this green wire, comes up through a one-way diode to fuse number 5. And guess where that is? It's in all the leftover bags of food on the right side under the dash. So what I've elected to do is tell them that it probably needs an alternator, and once the battery charges a little bit, I'll lift it up and I will stick a voltmeter with the key on and the engine off in the green wire in the back of the alternator, on the side of the alternator, from underneath. You can't get it from above, so got to get it from underneath. Should be interesting. It's pretty rusty. The truck is from Maryland. We're going to see what happens with this. After it charges a little while, we'll test that green and white wire and make sure we got battery voltage coming out on it, because once it gets through those two, then it's just a matter of being controlled by the ECM. So we know the ECM's trying to make it charge because it put the battery light on. It's not happy about the results, right? All right, sorry I didn't film it, but I ended up having to help him with that Dodge Dakota. The pickup truck's a Dakota. That's what, it's got slides on the arms. It's a real pain in the neck, so I had to help the guys do that one. But I didn't film it because there was 3 of us working on it at the same time. But anyway, that's going to bring it close to today's video. We're going to wait and see what happens on the Land Rover on Monday. I got a feeling they don't have a lot of money, just looking around. You shouldn't judge, but usually get a pretty good idea about that stuff. So see you Monday, man. Have a good weekend. Usually have a good idea about that kind of stuff, but you know, you never know. You always have to stay optimistic and see what happens, right? You want to fix it for him. Obviously, he's not going to take it anywhere like that. Might charge the battery and drive it 5 or 10 miles before it goes dead again. We'll see. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I enjoyed having you here. Maybe I'll torque the like button before you head out, or subscribe. It really helps the channel. I appreciate that support. And it doesn't cost anything. So today's a 2 for 1. You can subscribe and click like. It doesn't cost you anything. So I'm finished closing up this shop, closing up this week, and closing up this day in the shop. I will see you in the next video, I hope, because you're awesome.